During his time in the department, he served in multiple roles, including the Bureau Chief for the Investigative Services Bureau. He's served as the 3rd District Commander for Silver Spring and East County. He's been the Director of Major Crimes and overseen the Homicide Investigation Unit, and he's been the Commander of the Drug Enforcement Unit. He's led this department through a number of challenging times, including most notably COVID-19, several of the police reform efforts that we've seen in the wake of the George Floyd killing in elsewhere in the country. January 6th was a major incident in our region, and Montgomery County Police Department was heavily involved in that. In the aftermath, we still have officers who are injured as a result of that event, and numerous other major incidents. Beyond being a stellar leader for Montgomery County Police Department and our public safety entities, I have the honor of calling him my friend. And so with that, Chief Marcus Jones.
Thank you. Thank you, Earl. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Earl, and I appreciate the introduction. To say that I have waited for this day a long time is probably an understatement. But just joking. No, I have. It has been an honor for me to serve as the 17th Police Chief of Montgomery County. It's been truly an honor to lead the men and women of this great organization in this phenomenal county. Over the past 5 years, we have significantly had some challenges, but I have the utmost amount of respect for the men and women who battled with us, with me, as we overcame many obstacles along the way. And one of those individuals who was in that battle, I am proud to be here standing and thanking the county executive, Mr. Elrich, for recognizing the extremely great talent that we have for our department. And his selection, Assistant Chief Marc Yamada, to be the 18th police chief is a great selection, and I am so grateful. I have worked with Marc throughout most of his career, my career. Marc has been, we worked back in the drug enforcement days in the early 90s. And I've also had the pleasure of working with him and alongside him as district commanders before he became one of my assistant chiefs. He is a leader. The men and women of this department have the utmost amount of respect for him. That is something that's very important in leadership, is to have that support. He is a dedicated public servant, someone who I know who does the best. He has the highest amount of ethics and integrity, and it is, again, without a doubt, I'm pleased to be able to pass the baton to Marc, and I want to wish him the very best. I know he will do a great job as the chief of police, and with all the challenges that still continue for our department, I know he will lead in a very, very high and ethical way. So thank you for allowing me to speak, and best of luck to Marc. Thank you.
Next up will be County Executive Marc Elrich.
So good morning, everybody. And it is a good morning. Before I announce my nominee for police chief, I'd like to just take a moment to thank our current Chief Jones for his over 30 years of service to this department, starting his career in Montgomery County MCPD in 1985. It's a while back. Chief Jones has straddled 2 generations of police officers while witnessing an evolution in police training, tactics, technology, and strategies. And I will go off script here a minute because I just want to say we went through a difficult period of dealing with police in this county and how we wanted to re-envision some of what we were doing. And those are hard conversations. They weren't just hard conversations in Montgomery County. These are hard conversations all across the country. Expectations are different. Times have changed. This department did it remarkably well. You know, not everybody was happy with everything we did, but at the end of the day, everybody's committed to making sure that we come out of this with the best police department in the country, if we're not already that. And that's one of the reasons I was comfortable staying within the department for a promoter, because I thought that we were very capable of finding somebody here to do this. And I just want to thank Marcus for his leadership through that. This could have been really difficult. And I know that, everybody had different opinions about some things, but I think he did a great job in leading this department. I think he set us up in a really good position going forward. He's right. We have challenges. We are always going to have challenges. But I think we're better equipped to deal with the challenges now than we were 5 years ago. And so I'm very happy with the way you left this department, and I think you've got a lot to be proud of for the work you've done here. And I appreciate your compassion for victims, your willingness to modernize MCPD, and your steadfast advocacy on behalf of your officers in the department. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank you. Thank you. Because I don't think we'd be in this place otherwise. So I'm honored to announce the nomination of Assistant Chief Marc Yamada as Chief of Police for Montgomery County's Police Department. If confirmed by the County Council, Marc Yamada will make history as the first Asian American and first Japanese American to lead MCPD. And this is AAPI Heritage Month, so I think it's worth noting the importance of this. A lot of people talk about diversity and the importance of the diversity. This is one of those steps that people will be able to look at and say Montgomery County talks about it, Montgomery County also does it. MCPD is now one of the most respected law enforcement institutions in our nation. I know that because when I was thinking about replacement, I could not think of another department that I felt comfortable with how policing is practiced in most other places, to say I want a person from there to come here. And so I am happy that I could look at this department and find candidates, and more than one, who could have done this job and done this job with honor and earned the respect of our community. So I'm very happy with this nominee, and I want to say that this department is comprised of dedicated officers, also a strong command staff, and there was no reason for me to go outside. Marc embodies the qualities we need in our next police chief. He served the department since 1988 and has worked in all 4 of the bureaus in the department. His career has been marked by dedication, courage, and unwavering commitment to the safety and well-being of our community, and he's been recognized with numerous awards, including the J. Thomas Manger Award for Excellence in Leadership, Medal of Valor, Ethical Leadership Award nominee, multiple unit citations, Montgomery County's Best Customer Service Awards, Outstanding Performance Awards, and has been named Police Officer of the Year 3 times. That is not an insignificant amount of accomplishments, and it says a lot about the breadth of the work he's done. It's been clear that Chief Yamada has demonstrated exceptional leadership and innovation in his various roles within the department. He was instrumental in the work of advancing our Drone as First Responder program, and his quick thinking actions that actually saved a life while he was on duty. And Marc has shown he's not just a skilled officer, but a true public servant. Throughout his career, Marc has been a steadfast advocate for modernizing our police force, fostering community trust, and ensuring that our officers have the resources and training they need to serve effectively. And we're going to continue that. We will make sure that the officers are properly paid, that they're properly resourced, and that they get the training they need. And that's our commitment. We owe people who put their lives on the line at least that much. Through his career, Marc has been a steadfast advocate for modernizing our police force. His vision for the future of policing Montgomery County is rooted in accountability and a deep respect for the diverse communities we serve. He's been a strategic leader and willing to address MCPD's top priority, which is addressing our staffing deficit. And we know this is our top priority right now. We can't talk about community policing. We can't talk about fulfilling people's requests for increased patrols and increased presence unless we get this department fully staffed. And some of the initiatives I think we've taken this year will hopefully bear fruit. I think Marc has a philosophy that's going to help us be successful in this regard. So I'm confident we're going to be able to make progress in this, and it's imperative that we make progress in this. He's committed to continuing our use and expansion of technology, such as the Drone as First Responder program. That's why this budget has 2 expansions already in it, and I'm hoping during the course of the year to probably add a third and a 4th expansion, because it works. And this is one of the things that if it works, you ought to spend money on it. You shouldn't say I don't have the money in the budget to do something that you know is going to produce results. And we put in for 2. We think if these 2 pan out the way we expect they will, we can come back for the other couple that we're going to look for. And he's committed to being an advocate, a mentor, and a role model to over 1,300 sworn officers and 650 civilian employees of this department. But most importantly, he understands the foundation of a successful MCPD resides in maintaining and expanding the trust that our communities have with this department. His leadership style is collaborative and inclusive. He understands that effective policing requires building strong relations with community members, listening to their concerns, and working together to find solutions. And I'll again add here that we are now taking applications for the civilian chief position, and that will be a critical role, and Marc will play a role in helping us come up with a candidate. We want to make sure that we fulfill what we originally envisioned with that position, and that should help us in making sure we're connecting better with the community. His ability to connect with people from all walks of life and his commitment to justice make him the ideal candidate to lead our department in the future. And as we look to the future, we need leaders who are not only capable but also compassionate, and Marc is one of those leaders. He brings a wealth of experience, a clear vision for progress, and a genuine dedication to the people of Montgomery County. I'm confident that under Marc's leadership, our department will continue to evolve and improve, ensuring the safety and security of all of our residents. I'm optimistic the County Council will confirm his nomination and support his efforts to make Montgomery County safer, a more just place for everyone, and a great place to live. Thank you all.
And last but certainly not least, Assistant Chief Marc Yamada, and hopefully our future police chief with the assent of the County Council, Marc Yamada.
No pressure. I'll start by continuing with the common theme. Thank you, Chief Jones, for your leadership and absolutely phenomenal 38-year career of dedicated service. So thank you. Thank you to the County Executive, Marc Elrich, Chief Administrative Officer Rich Madalino, Assistant Chief Administrative Officer Earl Stoddard, Faruba Kassiri, and the entire CE team for placing their trust not only in this department, but specifically in me. I thank you to the County Council. It has been an absolute pleasure working with you all during my time as Assistant Chief. Collaboratively, the communication, it couldn't be better. I hope that continues into the future. And lastly, thank you to my family, my wife Kathy, who is here, my daughter Grace, who is also here, and the 3 sons who are not here, and I will not mention their names. No, that would be Ryan, Eric, Sean. I've been fortunate enough during my time to work with the past 6 police chiefs. I've taken away from their leadership qualities, absorbed them, have taken away something from each one of them. And I want everyone to know that I'm committed to upholding the highest standards that the previous police chiefs have set for the Montgomery County Police Department. Having served here since 1988, I recognize that I am inheriting what I feel is the absolute gold standard of law enforcement agencies across the entire country. That is due not to me, or not to the chiefs, not to the executives, but to the officers and professional staff of this department that we have right here in Montgomery County. During my time, the members of this department have accomplished great things. They've solved cases that were considered unsolvable. The Lyon sisters case, the murder of Montgomery County Sheriff Captain James Hall. They also helped capture the DC snipers, and altogether we overcame the pandemic. My goal is to uphold and build on that legacy of greatness. As we move forward, I am committing to enhancing our community policing efforts, strengthening our relationships with the residents we serve, and ensuring that our officers have the resources and training they need to perform their duties safely and to provide the highest qualities of police services possible. Our department's core values of equality, respect, integrity, and service will continue to guide our actions. Upholding these principles is essential in maintaining the public's trust. Transparency and accountability will remain at the forefront of our mission, and we will aim to have open and honest communication fostering relationships with mutual respect and understanding within the communities we serve. That was clearly demonstrated in our approach to establishing our new Dronis First Responder program, and we will continue to use this model moving forward. To the officers and professional staff of this department, I have always considered it an honor to work alongside you. I will always support you. I'm always willing to sit down and talk and listen to what you have to say. I will serve as your voice, and please know that I am proud of the work that you do each day. Your dedication and professionalism are the backbone of our success. To the Montgomery County community, your safety and well-being are our top priorities. We are committed to working with you. Your safety and well-being are our priorities and will continue to be as we create a more united and safer county. Thank you again for this opportunity. I look forward to embarking on this new chapter with all of you, and I'm confident that together we will accomplish great things. Thanks.
And so with that, we'll open up for some questions. Police PIO Shira Goff has a microphone, so let's make sure we get the members of the media on that so our live broadcast can pick up the questions as well. Questions from the media?
Hi, thank you for your time. For the Assistant Chief, can you talk about what you think are some of the biggest challenges facing the police department today, and if you have any ideas on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing we haven't spoke about before, but staffing and recruiting is a huge problem, retention. You know, some of the visions we have moving forward, we've started with AC Frank's help, we've started using a private company to help us with our recruiting efforts, and I think that'll go a long way. We also have some ideas. I've approached Councilmember Will Jawando about partnering with him to build some relationships with some of our educational institutions that we have close by, and specifically our HBCU contingency. Will is more than happy to partner with us on that, so hopefully that'll get us some more diverse candidates. It'll help build the pool of recruits that we have. As you probably know, we are deficient in our women and our minorities, especially amongst our executive staff here. So those are things that will be a priority for us moving forward.
And a quick question for you over here. Hey, SROs, do you see that as something that should be returning to schools? Are you hearing from the public, or are people saying, no, we're satisfied with the coverage we have? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, thanks, Kate. So this is something that comes up quite frequently in the meetings we attend. It's a discussion that I need to have with she's acting superintendent right now, Felder. Hopefully that appointment will become permanent at some point, and we can collaborate on what that will look like going forward. It's a policy that we're continuously trying to assess and adjust. Are we in the schools 100% like the SROs, or are we? Do we have some modified hybrid approach like with our CEOs now? And what that will look like moving forward, but that's going to take a collaborative effort. We're looking for input from the community. I'm always willing to listen. I've heard what some have said, and look forward to continuing that discussion and working with the Superintendent Felder moving forward.
You've been on this board for a long time, your experience, you know this community. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I see a lot of benefit when we are in the schools. To have the CEOs there, they establish relationship with the kids. They have discussions that enable us to do a couple of things. We identify problems inside the school, and then we're able to get in front of them when they transition outside of the school, which oftentimes happens. So those types of things can't be replaced if we're not inside the schools.
Good morning. Congratulations. I missed a little bit of what was said, so I apologize if there's any repetition. I believe I heard a county executive say you had saved a life before. If we could hear a little bit more about that, and then I know there's been a little bit of, there's been a lot of discussion about recruitment and things like that. Kind of, what are you bringing to the table in terms of trying to bring more people on? Any fresh ideas? Because that's obviously an ongoing issue. And then also with the county executive twice now you have selected people from within the department. I believe several years ago you were looking outside, and I think you mentioned some of that earlier, but if you were able to expand a little bit more on the importance of bringing someone from within versus from another department.
So I'll do the first two, I think. So yeah, during my career, I've actually have 3 life-saving, well, I only got credit for 2, but I've taken part in helping 3 people. One was a gentleman, he collapsed, suffered what turned out to be a heart attack outside of the Giant right here on Muddy Branch. And I was happened to be going to lunch, and myself and Officer Terry Ryan, he's retired, we administered CPR, first aid, revived him, and he ultimately lived. So that was my first one. My second one, we had a high school reunion. I don't remember which one it was, 25, 20, something like that. My wife, we went to the same high school. It was a combination of classes. She basically ordered me to go. I didn't want to go. So we were at the Golden Bull in Gaithersburg, and while we were standing there, I was positioned right by the exit, waiting to leave. And I looked over, and one of my classmates, I could just tell by the look on her face, was not doing well. She was choking and still standing. And as I walked over, I said, "Hey, Liz, are you all right?" And she, of course, didn't speak. She began to collapse. I grabbed her. I gave her the Heimlich. She got out what it turned out to be a meatball on the ground. At the same time, I'll confess, I also, when I jerked on her, she hit her head on the bar in front of us and put this big knot on her head. So yeah, I saved her life, but I also caused her an injury. Regretfully, I apologize, but she was very thankful. And then the most recent time, I was having dinner with family and friends out in Howard County, and one of the waitresses dropped her plate all over the floor as we were the last ones there. She was trying to clear the table. She suffered some sort of seizure, stopped breathing, and I was able to revive her. So those are my life-saving efforts. You mentioned recruiting again. Yeah, I mean, I think if we adjust our approach from a recruiting standpoint from like an HR type of thing to more of a sales approach, and I say it by this in this way. We have recruiters, I think there are five or so, who go out. They don't have necessarily any specialized skills other than they're recruiters. What I like to do is send out one of our drone pilots, one of our canine officers, one of our detectives, one of our executives out with them to be there alongside when they're doing their recruiting, to say to the potential pool, to say, this is what the Montgomery County Police Department can offer you. This is who you can be on our department, and approach it that way. Maybe we get a few other people. The other thing that I thought about, and actually my wife came up with the idea, so I'll give her the credit, is an athletes to officers. Myself, I played college sports at Frostburg, and I know many others on the department have done the same thing. If we targeted some of our smaller D3 institutions, specifically the athletic programs, they possess all the qualities we're looking for: decision-making, critical thinking, teamwork, all those things we want on the police department. I'd be interested to know on our department how many officers have athletic experience beyond high school. But if we did something like that, maybe that's another way to be innovative in our approach to recruiting. And I'll let you take the last one.
So, frame that again.
Oh, I was just, okay. Years ago, you had mentioned, you had done a search and were looking at some outside candidates, and then obviously you went with Chief Jones, and this time around also coming from within the department. If you could talk a little bit about that thought process in terms of hiring from within the last couple of times versus bringing someone in afresh.
Well, I'll say that, this time in particular, we've gone through a transition. And if you're going to get an opportunity to measure people, it's a great opportunity to see how they respond to change. When you're saying that policing is going to be different, do they run away? Do they rebel? Do they say, I don't want any part of this? Or do people say, we're going to stick through this and figure out how to make it work? And what I found was a willingness inside this department to make things work. I will say, be honest about it. Now, even if they didn't 100% agree with everything we tried to do, there was a willingness to say, we're going down this path. There was a recognition that this isn't a local issue, this is a national issue, and that we were addressing issues that were beyond just Montgomery County. I'll say sometimes Montgomery County gets blamed and our officers get blamed for anything a police officer does any place else in the country becomes a commentary on our police, and this is not fair and it's not true. But I felt like the department handled it actually really well. And I feel we've gotten ourselves in a lot better. Our training has improved. I think the kind of directions and some of the decisions we've made about policing itself have led to improvements. So I'm happy with where it got, and it got here with the people who are here. And I felt like I could go to another department, most likely that has not gone through this transition. So they wouldn't understand how we arrived at where we arrived. They may not be happy to be in a place that arrived here. They may not have taken this journey at all and understood what it took for both civilian and officers to reach a place that we were able to reach here. And since I felt I had candidates who were strong enough, candidates who were willing to support moving forward and continuing the work we were doing, I felt I didn't need to go outside. And I knew that knowing Montgomery County matters if you're a police officer, having the staff and knowing the strengths of the people who serve under you, because you're not like the commander of people who you have no contact with. You've got to know who your team is and what your team knows about different aspects of policing in Montgomery County. Montgomery County is different than a lot of other places, and it's not a good thing or bad thing. It's just a fact that it's different. So at the end of the day, I felt like I could find what the county needed within the ranks of the people who are here. And if I'd felt differently, I would have gone outside. But I didn't feel, I was not committed to inside or outside. I wanted to know that I had the talent and the willingness to do the work inside. And that answer was, yes, I can see it here.
Okay, so that'll conclude this morning's press briefing. I'm sure Chief Yamada or Chief Jones or the county executive could be available for additional questions one-on-one afterwards. So thank you very much for coming this morning.